Police searching for a missing couple and their newborn baby have released a CCTV image that they believe to be of the mother.
A nationwide manhunt for a couple on the run.
Please come forward, this is about the baby.
Everything within their behaviour was about them, not what was best for baby Victoria. You see that paranoia around cameras, around will the police see them.
The couple are an unlikely pair. One is an aristocrat with close royal connections.
She used to play with Prince Harry and Prince William, and that was very normal when she was a child.
She's not like her family members. She's kind of like the black sheep. All of a sudden, I'm hearing she's on the run and she's missing with a new guy. That was a total shock to me.
And the other, her partner, is a convicted rapist.
He was convicted and spent time in prison for significant offending in America.
They are besotted with each other. They are absolutely a unit, to the extent that they prioritise each other over their children.
Right, where's your child?
But the desperate search ends in tragedy.
It's dark, it's cold, it's January. And we go our normal route. And there's a dark car in front of us.
January 2023, Ken Hudson is driving home on the M61. A Peugeot 206 just in front of him pulls over and a couple gets out.
And I can see smoke. I'm thinking, that car's on fire. Adrenaline takes over, trying to scream to get this guy away. Please, sir, move away, sir, please. You're gonna get hurt. It's gonna go. It's engulfed in flames, it's gonna go. The figure ran past me. It was at that point where I did turn and realise it was a woman, realise she's carrying a baby.
Police are appealing to a mother from London who's gone missing with her young baby near a motorway to keep her beautiful newborn safe.
In the burnt-out Peugeot, police had found a placenta and the names of the couple who'd fled the scene, Constance Martin and Mark Gordon, who were known to the police and social services. Concerns about a potential newborn baby triggered a national manhunt.
Police say a man and a woman who have disappeared with their newborn baby may only have a tent to sleep in sub-zero temperatures.
CCTV cameras had caught fleeting images of the couple, but the last sighting was of them heading onto the South Downs with a tent from Argos.
We're really concerned that a newborn baby that was only days old at that time would have been subjected to the harsh environments that we've had over the last couple of weeks.
Then, more than 7 weeks into the manhunt, came the breakthrough. The starving couple were spotted at some shops in Brighton after they'd broken cover to buy food. They were swiftly arrested.
Put the stick down. Drop it now.
Where's the child, madam?
Where is the child? Daddy there. Look at me.
But there was no sign of the baby. Why had a wealthy woman and her partner of 6 years gone on the run with a newborn child?
Wedding bells at Holy Trinity Church, Brompton Road, and a big crowd to welcome royal guests for the marriage of a goddaughter of the Queen.
1949, a society wedding with some very special guests. King George VI, the Queen, and Princess Margaret. The bride, Mariana Sturt, was the Queen's goddaughter and the grandmother of Constance Martin, the woman who went on the run with her baby.
A charming figure in her gown of cream and gold brocade.
Mariana was hugely wealthy. This was the house in Dorset she inherited from her parents. Her son, Napier Martin, Constance Martin's father, was a page boy to the Queen. In stark contrast, Mark Gordon was born in Birmingham in 1974, the 5th child of a nurse who was a single mother.
He was a shy boy, he used to hide, like, go away, when they knock on the door for him and stuff like that. He was shy. He was a little mischievous, you know, but he wasn't. I've never seen him go out and hurt anybody, beat anybody. I've never had a fight. I've never seen him have a fight. Nothing at all. Never.
In the early 1980s, the family moved to the United States, eventually settling in Florida. It was there, still aged only 14, that Mark Gordon committed the brutal crime that would change his life forever. These pictures from the original 1989 police file that we've obtained show the house where Mark Gordon was convicted of raping his victim. She was his next-door neighbour, a 30-year-old mother of 2 young children. So I've written to Broward County Courthouse in Florida, where Mark Gordon appeared as a 15-year-old boy, and I've asked for a full transcript of the case, and that has now arrived. Here it is, and in it are really shocking details of the rape that he perpetrated back in 1989. This was what his victim told the court in 1990.
As shock and disbelief took over, I screamed. He said to me, "Don't scream or I'll kill your children." I saw he was holding a knife and a pair of hedge clippers. I knew there was no way out.
She said that 14-year-old Mark Gordon had raped her repeatedly at knife point for over 4.5 hours.
I was told to say goodbye to my children because this was the day I was going to die. I was told I was worthless, not as good as the others, which led me to believe I was not the first one he had raped.
The judge jailed him for life, though this was later changed to 40 years, of which he served just over 20. Mark Gordon has always maintained his rape conviction was unlawful. I managed to track down the woman Mark Gordon was convicted of raping all those years ago. She now lives in a completely different part of the United States. We spoke on the phone.
He's a psychopath. The juvenile court judge said that Mark was the most dangerous individual that he had ever seen.
Constance Martin was only 2 years old when Mark Gordon was jailed. Living in Dorset and London, she had a life of privilege.
She told me one time that she used to play with Prince Harry and Prince William, and that was very normal.
But her parents had a traumatic divorce that left lasting wounds.
She mentioned a few times that she, didn't really go well with her dad, and she didn't have the best relationship with her mom.
She just kind of let us know that she's not like her family members. She's kind of like the black sheep, and she did say that she was estranged.
When she left her private school, her mother, who was reportedly worried about her rebellious streak, took a momentous decision.
Open your lips, share your testimony.
This is TB Joshua.
Say, I love Jesus.
He ran a church in Nigeria called the Synagogue Church of All Nations. It attracted wealthy Westerners looking for miracles. Constance Martin's mother took her to the church's headquarters in Lagos when she was 19 years old. Angie, who's asked us not to use her full name for fear of reprisals, was there at the same time.
It was a place of torture and psychological abuse, physical abuse, spiritual abuse, and sexual abuse. It was a very terrifying place. It's very hard to explain how scary that place is.
Angie said the young women all slept in the same dormitory and were subjected to sleep deprivation and brainwashing. Years later, Constance Martin got in touch with Angie on social media.
I haven't spoken to anyone about what happened at the synagogue. My mum still praises TB Joshua and sees my being chucked out as my fault and spirit of rebellion. I've just dealt with it silently and with a lot of confusion. I haven't spoken to anyone that has experienced being a disciple and felt completely shattered and insecure when finding out it was predominantly mind control.
The church has denied previous allegations against it, and the BBC's seen no evidence that Constance Martin herself was abused. TB Joshua died in 2021 and the church is now managed by his widow. Constance Martin's mother has not responded to a BBC request for comment. After 3 months in the church, Constance Martin returned to her life. When chosen as Tatler's Babe of the Month, she said her ideal man would have a fiery temperament. The next year, Mark Gordon, who'd served more than 20 years in prison in Florida for the rape he was convicted of, was deported back to the UK.
What was it like for him, those 20 years plus that he
never
spent?
spoke about it. Never spoke about it. Still to this day, he's never spoken about it. I tried to be here, there for him, to help him get back into the system, to be comfortable, but Mark is independent, so he never came to me.
By now, Constance Martin was at university studying Arabic. For a while, she worked as a journalist before settling on drama school.
She was just such a cool person, very humble, very welcoming, very generous. We were always laughing, and we would hang out on and off campus in between classes. And she's honestly one of the sweetest people I've ever met, actually.
Drama school, there's a lot of posh people there, and there's a lot of wannabe posh people there. She's just who she is, you know, unapologetically.
It was at about this time that Constance Martin met Mark Gordon in a shop in London. Two troubled people coming together in what would prove to be a fatal partnership.
Suddenly you can't get in contact with her. Gone off the face of the earth.
Months after meeting, they went on holiday to a retreat in Peru and had a spiritual wedding.
He told me he had a wife. A wife? I was like, where's the wedding? Why were we not invited?
When they returned, she was pregnant. Her family disapproved and hired private detectives to monitor the couple and further investigate Mark Gordon's background, so they fled and ended up camping on waste ground behind Tesco in Carmarthen in South Wales. She was 8 months pregnant. Then in November 2017, Constance Martin arrived at the local hospital with Mark Gordon to give birth.
They purport to be friends, not a couple. Isabella O'Brien, a traveller who'd escaped the travelling community, and her friend James, who she'd met on a train. And she was in labour at that stage. They put on fake Irish accents to fool their midwife team. I think the more she was in labour, the more the accent slipped, so they were wondering what was going on. Mark Gordon came in with a bag and there was a passport in there, so they realised it wasn't their true identity, and the ruse was up.
The midwives called the police. Mark Gordon had to be restrained on the maternity ward. He attacked 2 female police officers, leaving them with cuts and bruises.
Mark Gordon actually got arrested as a result after that and sent to custody.
He was jailed for 20 weeks. That was the first day in the life of their first baby. After a period of supervision, the family court allowed the couple to keep the baby and they moved back to East London, relying on her generous trust fund.
Constance had financial means available on a monthly basis, which supported them month in, month out for anything they wanted to do.
But then one night, in one of the most significant moments in this story, Constance Martin fell from the first floor window of this house. She was 3 months pregnant at the time. The baby was unharmed, but she spent 8 days in hospital with a shattered spleen, and social workers, worried that it might be a case of domestic violence and concerned for the couple's children, became involved again. The BBC led a legal fight to have some of the family court hearings that followed made public, to explain why the judge decided the couple's children should be removed, even though Constance Martin had said she fell while trying to fix the TV antenna.
I find on the balance of probabilities that the father caused the mother to fall out of the window. I am not able to find whether he pushed her or whether she fell during a struggle. the former may be more likely.
At times he was controlling of her to the extent that she had to write things down and not say things out loud. We had evidence to suggest that, and he took her phone away from her. But then at other times she's in control. She studied law and has more qualifications than him, and so she directs things.
The fall was a crucial moment, leading to the couple's 2 children being taken away. They moved house, but when their 3rd baby was born, it too was removed. Then they moved to South London.
The chaotic behaviour of renting properties, not paying the rent, but also vandalising the properties that they were then using and really moving from place to place.
In a devastating ruling, Judge Reardon concluded that the couple seemed to be involved in an unrelenting struggle against a non-existent opponent and had repeatedly prioritised their own need for privacy and secrecy above their children's health. Their 4th baby was then removed just 5 days after it was born. And when Constance Martin got pregnant for a 5th time, the couple left their house in South London and went on the run.
They both are so upset that their other 4 children were taken away from them. They, in my view, took the opinion that as soon as she became pregnant with Victoria, that they would avoid the authorities to try and keep that baby.
Trying to evade social services, they stayed in a series of hotels and holiday homes. Martin claims baby Victoria was born in this cottage in Northumbria on Christmas Eve. They were planning to smuggle her abroad. But when their Peugeot caught fire and they lost their documents, that plan went up in flames.
The emergency services hadn't arrived. I thought, well, they're safe. They're away from the fire. Yeah, I think we'll go. I just turned to the lady and put my hand on the baby's head. The baby's head was cold, but it was January and the baby's head hadn't got a cap on. And I just said, yeah, God bless, keep safe, and got in the van. That's probably the one God bless that I'll never forget.
By the time the police arrived, the couple had gone, leaving their belongings behind.
The presence of passports in the car, for me, meant that the plan was to likely leave the United Kingdom. They knew, obviously, clearly that emergency services would be imminent, and they made that choice to go across the fields, quickly get in the lift to Bolton. Over the next 24 hours, moving from Bolton to Liverpool. That's where the taxi journey started to kick in. The money that we know that they had was starting to be spent in its hundreds on moving across the country to Essex and Harwich.
Police searching for a missing couple and their newborn baby have released a CCTV image that they believe to be of the mother. This image is thought to show Constance Martin outside Harwich Port in Essex at 9 o'clock this morning.
From Harwich, they did spend a short time in Colchester before taking another taxi down to East Ham. In the early evening, they've gone over to Whitechapel. They went into Argos. They bought the tent. They bought sleeping bags and pillows. Everything within their behaviours was about them as a couple and what they were going to do, not what was best for baby Victoria. They decided that the buggy wasn't required.
Detectives believe baby Victoria was now being carried in a little bag for life, something the couple have always denied.
Then again, embarking on another taxi journey, near on £500, moving to Newhaven. They were dropped off shortly before 6 o'clock in very cold and very wet circumstances. As we tracked them by CCTV, the last pictures was them entering the open land of the South Downs. At that time, they literally had the 2 pillows, 2 sleeping bags and a £40 tent, which was not a suitable tent for the extremes for which we know that the South Downs provides.
Going to local petrol stations and local news agents to get items, but local items where they're less likely to be detected, and taking out cash.
They could have at any point decided we need to get help for Baby Victoria, and they didn't.
They were moving location every few days, using their phones and getting takeaway. We've got evidence to suggest that.
We undertook large-scale searching supported by Sussex Police. We're using helicopters, drones, and I think that they'd probably moved towards trying to find cover. We've got CCTV of them trying to gain access to some outbuildings on the vicinity of the golf course. They were looking for different places to sleep. But again, nothing that came close to the warmth that a newborn child requires at such a young age.
Finally, on February the 27th, 2023, the manhunt came to an end.
They had been in this convenience store and were spotted by a member of the public who called 999.
Sussex Police responded, and within 7 minutes of that 999 call, had made the arrests.
Put the stick down. Drop it now.
Oh, look at the photo on that.
Oh, where's the child, madam?
Where is the child, please? Daddy Bear.
Look at me. Take it away
Constance.
from him.
Yeah, Constance, Arabella, whoever you are.
Right, where's your child? Have we searched her?
Sooner you tell us. Yeah, this isn't at the front, is it? I've just asked. I'm going to undo it now. I've just...
I'll level with you. You're under arrest for child neglect. You are under arrest for concealment of the birth of a child.
How's that? That's not arrestable.
All right.
Lack of engagement, lack of answers, and more concerned again by their own welfare.
Is the child alive? Is your child alive? Where's the child?
They're not admitting anything, they're just demanding food.
Chicken?
Chicken, all right?
No, with mayonnaise, please. With mayonnaise?
We had to find her. They didn't help us find her. And I think that says, for me, everything. As time goes on, and as the night went into the morning, and how cold it was, I think we all knew how harsh that environment was over the days we were there. Nobody wanted to go home. We were able to deploy just over 100 officers initially.
For 2 days, officers from the Metropolitan Police and Sussex Police and dozens of volunteers scoured the Downs and the local allotments, searching for the missing baby in freezing temperatures. Eventually, police found what they were looking for in a shed.
Officers firstly saw the blue tent. After finding the blue tent, the bag for life, Baby Victoria was found at the bottom of that, surrounded by rubbish.
Her body was badly decomposed.
It is my very sad duty to update this afternoon. Police officers searching a wooded area discovered the remains of a baby. A post-mortem examination will be held in due course.
Well, I've just been up to the woodland where this infant's body has been found, and on a night like this, it is a dark, cold and desolate place.
Post her passing, they could have come forward, but they didn't. That was their choice.
2 days later, the couple were charged with manslaughter by gross negligence. The first trial at the Old Bailey ended with the jury unable to reach verdicts on all the charges. They found the pair guilty of child cruelty, concealing the birth of a child, and perverting the course of justice, but they couldn't decide on manslaughter by gross negligence or causing or allowing the death of a child. The second trial began in March 2025. Mark Gordon and Constance Martin were disruptive throughout, sometimes refusing to come to court altogether and loudly arguing with the judge. In the witness box, Constance Martin blamed everyone else, including the family court, for taking away her first 4 children. Then she gave her version of how baby Victoria died. She said she'd fallen asleep sitting up in the tent and had slumped over the baby, and when she woke up, Victoria was dead. But when she was asked why she didn't call the police, she suddenly blurted out that it was because Mark Gordon had been convicted of a violent rape, something that had been carefully kept from the jury so it wouldn't influence their decision. It led to the judge angrily accusing her of deliberately trying to sabotage the trial. Mark Gordon then sacked his lawyers and questioned Constance Martin himself, allowing her to launch a vitriolic attack on her family, accusing them of prejudice, of not wanting her to be alive, and of stopping at nothing to get what they want. When he gave evidence, Mark Gordon insisted the couple had taken good care of Victoria and said the police manhunt was what forced them to go on the run and ultimately led to her death. Despite the months of disruptive behaviour by Constance Martin and Mark Gordon, the trial eventually limped to an end, with the jury finding them guilty of manslaughter by gross negligence.
If I'd have stayed, would they have still insisted on leaving the scene? Would the baby have survived? That stayed with me for quite a long time.
The story that I see is very different from what you see on the headlines. The story that I see is a young girl who was taken to an awful place, was broken down, doesn't understand what happened to her, and is therefore unable to process what's happening to her now. And she really, really needs help.
I'm not going to draw the sword and scorn my brother for anything right now. He made a mistake, and it's a terrible mistake, and that's what he's going to have to live with the rest of his life.
I look at my wider team, and I think, there's not probably a case that's probably ever had the impact it's had. I don't want to see another case like this. Baby Victoria had a short life. What can be done to improve outreach to couples like this who may need extra support? I think there's a conversation that we need to have nationally around protecting unborn future children.
It's very sad. The first few weeks of her life were sad, and she must have been cold for her lifetime, however long that was, which we may never know.
like a bright red rose, always fragrant and seductive. I see you coming back in my sleep. The nostalgia's overflowing, it cannot be quenched. you.